Does Doug Pederson deserve to be on the hot seat? What are the Eagles going to have to do to have a hope to beat the Packers? And what does Papa Shango have to do with this? All of that coming up next. What's up, everybody? Professional wrestler Chris Wild back with another episode of the Eagles News Now podcast, live at Bar 4133 on a football Sunday where the Eagles face the Packers at Lambeau Field. 4:25 today, late afternoon game for the Birds. And as I awoke this morning, I saw that per NFL Network, Eagles head coach Doug Pederson is on the hot seat with his future very much in doubt. Now, look, I'm going to be frank here. Actually, I'm going to be Chris, and I'm going to tell you, Doug Pederson's had an absolute horrible year. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. You watch some of his play calls, it's head-scratching, sometimes mind-numbing, frustrating, and downright aggravating. However, Doug Pederson does not deserve to get fired or be on any hot seat, and I'm going to explain to you why. So, let me ask you, if I went back 10 years and I said to you, in 2020, the Eagles were going to absolutely suck, have a horrible year, but their head coach the past 3 years was going to get them to the playoffs every year and actually win the Super Bowl in one of those years. Would you want this coach fired after 2020? No, you would not. It doesn't make any sense. First off, yes, like I said, the play calls, horrible. Decisions, horrible. However, Doug Pederson was really, to start off this crazy 2020 season of COVID-19, no off seasons. I know everybody has to deal with that. However, Doug was dealt a really bad hand. Now, he did have COVID-19 to start the off season, but just leaving that part out, if you remember, in that press conference at the end of last year, coming into this offseason, he was asked if Carson Walsh and Mike Groh, who Walsh was his wide receivers coach, Mike Groh was the offensive coordinator, and Doug calls all the plays. We know that, but the offensive coordinator runs the meetings, the offensive meetings. They were asked if they were going to be back, and Doug said, "Yeah, they're my guys. They're going to be back." The very next day, Jeffrey Lurie fires those two, and the search for an offensive coordinator goes on. Apparently, there were some guys that could have came in, but Doug didn't want to give up play calling. However, the Eagles end up without an offensive coordinator. Basically, they get 6 or 7 offensive coaches that include Rich Scangarello and Marty Morningwig. And they're all different kinds of coaching techniques. It just doesn't work. Doug does not have an offensive coordinator this year. And it has absolutely made this offense suffer. Again, I get it. You're going to tell me, well, they don't call the plays anyway. There's still a certain kind of foundation put in place when you have an offensive coordinator, somebody that you can lean on. According to reports, Press Taylor called all the plays in the second half of last week's game, which if that's the case, Press Taylor is never calling another play for me if I'm the head coach. Look, I just don't believe that after all the success that Doug has had here, that he should be on the hot seat this year. If you go two seasons in a row with bad results, maybe, but it's just insane to me. He brought the team to the playoffs with a practice squad last year. The year before, his entire secondary was just dismantled. Injuries, out the ass, and he brought them to the playoffs. Alshon Jeffrey catches that against the Saints there in the championship game. And then, of course, 2017 Super Bowl win. And I know the people out there that are going to say it was all Frank Reich and John DeFilippo. Well, those are the same people that should be on board with me then, saying that the Eagles need an offensive coordinator. I just don't see. I cannot imagine them getting rid of Doug after this year. But Jeffrey Lurie has done dumb things like letting Howie Roseman continue to be the general manager, which is the biggest issue of this team. This team, we talked about the draft picks, everyone that he's missed out on the draft, all the bad free agent signings. Doug really hasn't had much to work with in this past couple seasons. Now, the regression of Carson Wentz is something to keep an eye on. Again, I just think when you're hit 46 times, and your offensive line is in its 11th different formation starting today, which is the first time that's happened in 33 years, you're just not going to have great results. So look, if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I'm giving Doug another year. I'm telling him, look, we might need to rethink this, you calling all the plays, and get you an offensive coordinator like maybe a Jim Caldwell, or maybe one of these young guys on these other staffs, or maybe even Deuce Staley, who certainly deserves a shot at the job, I believe. But Doug Pederson being on the hot seat, I mean, I don't know if this is just one of those hot take, we want everybody to watch the Packers and the Eagles game today type of thing, because they tried it last week with the Jalen Hurts stuff. That marketing ploy, so maybe this is just another one. I don't know. Now let's talk about Eagles-Packers real quick. I'm not going to go into a deep preview of this, guys. We all know the Packers are a great team this year. They're averaging over 30 points a game. Aaron Rodgers is MVP Rodgers. Their defense is pretty decent. Look, the Eagles are, I think, right now like 9-point underdogs. I don't give them much of a shot to win this game after what I saw last week and the week before and the week before that after the bye. There's nothing that would make you think that they could win. However, whenever I kind of think that way, they always end up surprising me. Now, Jordan Howard has been brought up from the practice squad. He had a great game against the Packers last year. Obviously, he's not the same Jordan Howard, but who knows? When I think about beating the Packers, I think about when I watched them against the Minnesota Vikings and Dalvin Cook absolutely destroying them on the ground. And I think of Miles Sanders, and maybe if the Eagles can somehow stick to the run, that's something that they could try to do there. Darius Slay, questionable. He's got to play. If he doesn't, Devontae Adams, last year, I think before he got hurt, he was well over 200 yards receiving. He's an absolute monster. And I'm sure, Slay is going to want to, as he said, he put the loss on him last week. He's going to want to play better this week. But look, their backs are against the wall. When your back's against the wall, you have nowhere else to go. You have nowhere else to go but forward. So I just want to see them look like a team this week. I thought it was going to happen last week, and it didn't. And look, if Carson has 5 straight series of 3-and-outs and looks horrible, you got to do something by pulling him. I would activate Nate Sudfeld. I know everybody wants to see Jalen Hurts, but apparently if Jalen Hurts looked really good in practice, he would already be in the game. That's just my thinking. He would have already had more than 1 snap a game. So they got to do something, and that's not only to try to win the game, but to protect Carson Wentz as well. If he's absolutely getting destroyed in there, if you're up to 50 sacks by halftime, yeah, something's got to give, guys. So with that being said, I'm bringing on some extra help for this game. I don't exactly believe in voodoo or spells or anything like that. I'm not that kind of guy. But why not? This has been a horrible season, so I'm going to try anything. I'm bringing in Papa Shango from the WWF. And I'm gonna ask him for some help against this Green Bay team. I want something. Can the Packers have their worst game of the year? Can you put some kind of spell so that Aaron Rodgers has his worst game of the season, his worst game of his career? Something, anything. Give us any kind of hope that we can enjoy a Sunday for once, and by God, maybe even get a win. Is that even possible? Do something. I don't know, but we can take all the help we can, guys. Look, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have and haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Like, share, the entire gimmick, the entire YouTube gimmick. I'm Chris Wild. I'm a little bit sore today after my first match back since the pandemic was last night. Again, thanks for all the support. And hopefully we have something good to talk about. I say this every week. I just want something good to talk about after this game. Guys, stay safe, stay healthy out there. Go Birds, F the Packers. F Aaron Rodgers, and F the NFL Network for that report of Doug being on the hot seat to get people to watch the Packers and Eagles game. Go Birds. I'll see you later.
E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! I need Eagle Nation.